They were rigs, and they were many. The Kenner Star Wars mini rigs. Today we're going to look at 6 prototypes that Kenner used to show Lucasfilm that they could sell vehicles from Star Wars not seen in the film. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, back at you with another video. Today, we're going to talk about the Star Wars mini rigs. We're going to look at 6 mini rigs that were not released, prototypes, concepts of the mini rigs that Kenner used in a meeting with Lucasfilm to show, hey, we can sell cheaper ships that wasn't in the film. Something Lucas himself was kind of against. But before we get started with this video, as always, you want to support this channel, head over to patreon.com. Right up there you can click the link and become a Patreon supporter. Also, if you want to support this channel another way, you can go over to that junkman.com and buy some cool t-shirts like the Kenner t-shirt. I had to look down to make sure I was wearing it. Again, that's the junkman.com. A lot of great shirts over there. Check it out. And that money helps to go make the Junk Room possible. So let's talk about the Star Wars mini rigs. I personally as a kid wasn't a fan of this line. If I didn't see it in the movie, I really didn't want it. But I've come to appreciate this line over the years as a collector. Sadly, as you can see, I have no mini rigs in my collection. But hey, one day, right? One day. So how did Kenner come up with mini rigs anyway? Well, those people over at Kenner were sitting around brainstorming one day. How can they get kids to buy more ships and vehicles and keep the cost down? The problem with ships and vehicles is most of the time parents wouldn't buy a kid an X-Wing or a Falcon unless it was a special occasion like a birthday or Christmas. They had to get little Johnny into the store and use his money that he made all summer selling seeds from the Junior Sell Seeds Club of America. And little Johnny would not have sold enough seeds to buy a Millennium Falcon. So what did they come up with? Of course you know what they came up with because you clicked on this video. They came up with the mini rigs. These were little ships that looked like something would have been in Star Wars, but it wasn't. And Kenner's plan was to keep these at about $10 or under, making it affordable for the little kids and even parents that might just buy it for no special reason at all. As The Empire Strikes Back was approaching theaters, the Kenner designers went hard to work. They dug through their junk box of toy parts and designed 6 mini rigs that they would present to Lucasfilm, who had to approve all the toys released by Kenner. Out of these 6, some did make it to the toy shelves, just a little different, and some didn't. First, let's look at the PDT-8, or maybe you can call this the PDT-7, being that it came before the 8. Good joke there, right? From this image, you can tell right off the bat that the engine used for this was taken from the die-cast Y-Wing. There was a landing gear also taken from the Y-Wing. However, it's not seen in this photo. This did get approved by Lucasfilm, although at the time it was called the DPT, standing for Droid Personal Transport. I guess it was for those really lazy droids that didn't want to walk anywhere. However, the name changed to PDT, Personal Deployment Transport. As for the 8, I could find no reason why they put an 8 on it. I guess it just sounded cool. Next up, we'll look at the prototype, which has no official name, but I'm going to call it the Princess Leia chair. This prototype had 4 movable legs that were all linked together with rods. By using the top of the 2 back legs as levers, it would cause all 4 legs to move and appear to be walking. This mini rig here was rejected by Lucasfilm, as they feel it didn't go with Princess Leia's go-get-'em attitude, adding that Princess Leia would never be caught dead in something like this. But who would be caught dead in something like this? You guessed it, Newt Gunray. Now, let's look at the vehicle that Han Solo is sitting in. This will be approved by Lucasfilm and be titled MLC-3. On this prototype, Kenner designers used parts from the Radio Control Sandcrawler. On the release version of the MLC-3, Kenner would add a top hatch, making the vehicle a lot more cool and fun. So what did MLC stand for? Mobile Laser Cannon. Again, what's the 3 for? No one knows. So now we look at the vehicle for Chewbacca. And he's seen in a vehicle made of styrene, which is a word I don't think I ever heard of until I started researching these toys. And at first I thought they just spelled styrofoam wrong. So what is styrene? Be honest with you, I read all about it and I still can't tell you what exactly it is. It seems to be a fancy, better version of styrofoam. But I'm sure some of you out there went to college and you can tell me in the comments below what it is, although I think even then I still won't know. On this one, the Kenner design team used stickers from the X-Wing. Very little information is known about this one, other than it's some type of small ship. There was no reason given why this was turned down by Lucasfilm, or maybe Kenner just changed their mind. One possible theory I have of why this was never made is because it looks dumb. Now let's talk about Luke Skywalker. He's seen twice in these photos, so let's talk about the best one first, and I call this one Luke Skywalker's Tatooine Dirtbike. That's not the official name or any name that Kenner gave it, but I like calling it that because it looks like a dirt bike you would find on the hills of Tatooine. In the photo here, we can see Luke sitting in a big chair with some kind of plastic over his face. Maybe something to keep the sand out. As for that seat, does it look familiar? It did if you played with the Kenner Star Wars Millennium Falcon, as that was the gunner seat. As for the big tires, it's unclear where they came from, but it's most likely some RC wheels from the Kenner RC junk drawer. A light bulb was placed at the front and will run off 1A battery. Did this one get approved by Lucasfilm? Well, some out there say this turned into the MTV7. Although to me they look completely different, and I don't think the two are the same. Well, as you guys tell me that in the comment section below, let's look at the other vehicle that Luke Skywalker is sitting on. It seems to be some kind of tank, and Luke Skywalker sits on the side of it. I've got a feeling that the chair part slides into the base, but again, I'm just guessing. There's very little information about this one out there. And the more I look at it, the more I think about it. Maybe it's not a base at all. Maybe it was planned to be the Luke Skywalker lounge chair with table. You know, in case he wanted to sit back and have a cold one as he watched the snow fall and halt. It looks more like that than anything else to me. And that's a look at the 6 ships. Six already? And that's a look at the 6 prototype mini rigs. Lucasfilm and Lucas himself really didn't like this when Kenner first brought it to him. Lucas really didn't like having toys that wasn't seen in the film. However, after their meeting with Kenner, Lucas and Lucasfilm changed their mind. George Lucas loved them, saying they felt like something that was just out of the frame, that they still had that Star Wars look and feel. And the mini rig series would be a success, crossing over to the Return of the Jedi line. But there was one more prototype that we never got to see released. This would be a mini cargo ship that would attach to the front of the Falcon. Kenner hoped that with this one, kids that owned the Falcon would really want it. But they really hoped it would give kids a reason to want the Falcon. A ship that was already on the market for 5 years. Again, this prototype was made out of styrene. I still don't know what styrene is, but I do know one thing about it. If I bought some, I couldn't make a cool toy ship out of it. Anyway, that's a look at the 6 prototypes that helped launch the mini rigs. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, well, I'm sure there's something on this channel that you will enjoy. Or maybe you'll enjoy the next one. Or maybe you won't and you won't ever watch my channel again. I'll never know. But even if you didn't like this video, I want to thank you for watching. Be back very soon with another video.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.